I know, like someone like we have a friend of ours. One of our friend was asking a question about like to name alkanes. I think this person may be new to the organic chemistry. That's why like I decided to produce this video, like of how to name the alkanes. So let me think about, by the time you finish to watch this, at least you'll be having some other hints on how you can really name the alkanes, provided you meet them on the way, or you meet them somewhere you're reading books, or you want to work out something. I think let me think this video will help you. So getting straight away to the naming of alkanes. So previously, like I produced a video on what the alkanes are. So mean that for those of us who don't know what the alkanes are, so basically you go back. So these are organic compounds, the mainly carbon hydrogen compounds. We talked about them, they are saturated and all that. So here we're going to look at how we do name the alkanes. So first of all, we shall see that with the exception of the first four members, that is methane, ethane, propane, and butane. Then the rest of the alkanes are named with they are just actually named with the corresponding number of the carbon atom, and then added on a prefix N on them. So corresponding number. So here what we mean is, like, for instance, if I look at the fifth one, the fifth alkane, which is a pentane. So it has, this fifth one has what we call a 5 carbon atoms. So normally, apart from the first one members, the rest for them normally get the number of carbon atoms, then we add on the prefix N on it, of which is A N E on the ending. So when you look at the fifth one, we'll say that this is a pentane. So pent means actually 5 of them, like as here the pentagon and so on, that is 5. So that is pent 5, then N, so I call it pentane. Then you look at the sixth one, that is, it has 6 carbon atoms, and from its number of the carbon atoms, we normally coordinate it as xn from like the 6th number of carbon atom, like as here the hexagon and so on. Then we have also the heptagon, then we have the octagon and so on, depending on the number. We have the decane and like the octane and so on. So that's how we do name them. So we normally name them according to the number of the carbon atoms, and then adding a prefix N at the end. That is apart from the first 4 members. Actually, that is methane, ethane, propane, and then butane. That is for the case of the straight chain members. But then we shall see that not all members are straight. We have some branched members. Like for instance, one may have a member like methyl, butane, methyl, say pentane. So that we name these normally depends on even normally actually it's a bit a process whereby we look at the position of the side chain, or at times we normally call them the side substitutes. So we look at their position, and then we normally actually identify, or we note where those side chains or the substitutes are attached on the long chain, or the number of carbon atom on the carbon atom on which they are attached on the long chain, or what we call the parent chain. So here, what we do before we go to their naming, at times when you have, like, say, a substitute attached on a long chain or a straight chain member, first you know the number. That is, you count the number from either your left or from the right, and you normally take the least or the smallest number or the smallest digit very possible. For instance, I can have, say, like the one down there, of which it can be say methyl butane, but then of which we normally have to indicate the position of the attached substitute. So here what you do, you name them, say 1, 2, 3, 4, say 5. Let us use actually the methyl pentane to just have it say at least to have a something which is reasonable. So using the say pentane having a branch on it, counting from say left, you have 1 2. So if at all the methyl group is attached to the second carbon atom, you have 1 2, that is position number 2 from maybe the left. Then from the right you have it 1 2 3 4. So there are 4 of them. So which looking at this, you normally take the least one. So you compare now the 4 and the 2. So which one is least? Of course that one is self-explanatory. Of which we shall take now the counting from the left, and then we shall call it 2 methyl pentane. Let me think we all fine with that. So 2 methyl pentane, not 4. So that's how we normally name that. Then still, if at all the position change, that's how you continue until naming all that, provided you have one. Then if at all it's not a methyl, it's not a must that ever it will be a methyl group. It can be any other group, but still that's how we do name the alkanes, which are non-straight. Then the other thing maybe I've like if at all I'm not forgotten, we shall see that at times we have those branched members which have more than one substitutes attached to the main carbon chain. For instance, I will still further use that example, the one of the pentane having a methyl group attached there. So assuming you have any other group, say another second methyl group attached to another position, say I'll attach it to maybe the position 3, okay, somewhere there, and then still we'll do the same thing, but then still you do it this time around, still you do it independently, of which you know that maybe you count them from the left still and then from the right. So from the left we shall say that first methyl group is attached on carbon number 2, then the second one is attached on carbon number 3. So these digits are added together, so you get the sum of these digits and you find the result you're getting. So 2 plus 3, that's a 5. You notice somewhere that this is a 5. Then you come now to the counting from the right or from the other hand of yours, and then you find that this is a say 1 2 3. So the first one is attached on carbon number 3, then the second one is attached on carbon number 4. So you sum them up, 4 plus 3, of which you get 7. So 7 is a big number compared to the first term we got, which is a 5. So meaning that we shall take now the least one or the small one, which is a 5. So naming them now here, what we do, since there are 2 of them, we normally prefix them with a di. So you don't need to repeat that maybe this methyl, the other one's methyl, because they do resemble. So what you do, you note down the digits of the position of the substitute, say 2, then a comma, then the position of the another substitute, which is in position 3. So it's 2 3. Then from the digits, so the digits are separated by a comma, then the digit with a word, they're separated with a hyphen. Then you put a hyphen between that number, which is 3 now, with say a methyl, but this time around there are 2 of them. So it will be 2 3 dimethyl, together with now the straight chain or the parent chain, which is pentane, dimethyl pentane. So there's no spacing between these words, so it's a one word. Okay, so you write it as a one word, so it's a 2 3 dimethyl pentane. So that's how we do name such a compound or such an alkane. Then still on the line, these alkanes may be in the same position, so still you name them in the same way. So assuming now they are all sharing the same carbon atom, okay, say the methyl group is attached on the same carbon atom, even the second one attached on the same carbon atom. It's not a must that still they have to be the same. I'll explain that still. So here still you have them like the example we have here, they are all attached to carbon number say 3. So whereby you'll be having you count still from the right and then from the left. So counting from the right now, looking at this example, I think it's even. When you have from the left is 3, then from the right is also 3. So if it is even, then you can take that number straight away. So you have a 3, they're all attached to 3, but then you don't write a single digit because there are two of them. So you have each digit represents one substituent or one side chain. So you write a 3, that is the first one is attached on 3, then put a comma. Even the second one is attached on 3, so you repeat that 3. If at all there are many of them, you repeat the same digit, a number of, depending on how many substituents you have. So it's a 3 comma, still the second one is attached on 3, you repeat that 3, there are two of them, put an hyphen. These, they are two, they are identical, repeat with a di, they are methyl, then pentane, the switch chain, as previously we have done. So as simple as that. So that's how we do name now, though they are attached on the same carbon atom. But then this one applies if at all like the side chains or the substituents are similar or they are identical. We have cases whereby they aren't identical. For instance, when you go back to the first example we have looked at, whereby we had 2, 3, an hyphen, dimethyl, pentane. Assuming, say, the second one wasn't a methyl group attached to the third position, assuming it was, say, a methyl group. So how would you name this? Of course, still the counting won't change. From the left, we shall be having a list summation. That is a summation of 5, 2 plus a 3. But in the naming now, you have an ethyl group, you have a methyl group. So here what we do now, you look at the first letter of this substituent or the side chain and go to the chart of the alphabet, look at their position, which one comes first alphabetically. So we shall see that ethyl we have the E, then methyl we have the M. So M-E, E comes first, that is before the M. So meaning that in the naming we shall consider now the ethyl group coming first. So no matter whether the methyl group is attached on 2 and the other one's attached on 3, but then we look at the naming or the letters from the alphabet. So in our naming of the substituent, it will be a 3 instead of now coming with the 2 or the methyl group first. Now we shall start with the ethyl group, so you call the position of the ethyl group. So it will be a 3, an hyphen, ethyl, an hyphen, then now come to the methyl, which is on the position 2, an hyphen, methyl, then the parent alkane, which is pentane. So as simple as that, that's how we name it. So it will be a 3, an hyphen, 3 ethyl, 2 methyl, pentane. So that's how we name such in case like they aren't identical and they are not in the same position. But it's still, when they're not identical, how much they're not in the same position or how much they're in the same position, that's how we name them. So you start with so assuming they were all at 3 3, position 3, like say the second example we had, like which was a 3 3 dimethyl pentane. Assuming now they are not methyl, one is a methyl, another one is a ethyl, still you do it the same way. Eth comes first, so you say 3 ethyl, 3 methyl, pentane. So that's how we name such alkanes which are branched, and so on. So it's then the other thing, if at all I haven't forgotten, we have some alkanes which are in a cyclic nature, which are not straight, neither branched, but they're in a cyclic nature, they're in a circle nature. For instance, you may have, say, like one having 3 carbon atoms but forming a ring. So like for instance, having say propane but in a ring format, having butane but forming a ring whereby the extreme carbon atoms, they do lose one hydrogen to create a bond between themselves. So here for them they are cyclic. We normally call them the cyclic compounds. So which one? Those ones which form a ring, and we normally denote them by a prefix cycro to mean that they are in a circle. They're in a circle way. For instance, when you look at say the one which makes like a triangular format, or that is the cyclopropane. We normally call them cyclopropane because they are 3 carbon atoms. They are saturated one, that makes it an alkane. From, if I don't you recall when you looked at what the alkanes are, so that one makes it an alkane because it's cyclo and is saturated. So we normally denote it as cyclopropane. and it's a single word. There's no spacing between the two, between the cyclo and propane. The same applies to the rest. You can have cyclobutane, cyclopentane, cyclohexane, and so on. So those are also other naming. When you have we have what we call the cycloalkanes. That's how we do name them. We just add there all what we call cyclic compound. We add there the word cycloalkanes. So that's how we do name them. And still on this cyclo now, we may have some branching on them, or we may have some attachments on them. You can have a cyclo attached on a methyl, attached on an ethyl group, and so on. So still here, you name them as before. Okay. If I don't have one attached on it, like say you have your cyclopropane having a methyl group attached on it, like you may have it as methyl cyclopropane, as simple as that. Methyl cyclopropane, if at all is one. If at all there are two, and they can be on different or the same carbon atom. At times, if at all they are the same carbon atoms and they are two, we consider them to be in position 1, or to be in the first position, no matter where they are attached. But if at all they are on adjacent, or they are on adjacent or different carbon atoms, then you consider one to be in the first position, then the other one to be in the second position as previously. You can say 1, 2 hyphen dimethyl cyclopropane, like the example we have there, and so on. If at all like still they are not identical, one is a methyl, another one says a ethyl, so you take the E first, but this time around, though the methyl may appear to be first, but for the case of cyclo compound, you can't tell where the first carbon atom is and the second carbon atom is, and so on. So what you do here, the one which comes first, or the one whose first letter comes first in the alphabet, for instance, we say that E comes first before M, then the ethyl group we shall consider it to be on carbon number 1 for the case of the cyclo compounds, and then the rest will follow the order, that is from 1 and then dependingly. So for the case of that, having say ethyl group here, we shall have it as 1 ethyl, 2 methyl propane. Let me think, are we okay with that? So that's how we do name such a compound there, and so on. So basically that's how we can name some of them. There are many of them. I can't give all the examples here, but at least like I've given a hint on how we do name the alkanes. So for our friend who had a question about that, and for you guys who have more of the questions, you can comment down. You can have more of the questions. I'll go through them, then I'll get time to answer you guys. I'll be glad for sure to meet more of the questions from you guys. Then the other thing still, don't forget to be updated. It's just simple. Have a subscription there. Whenever I produce a video, of course you'll be the first person to have it. So you just have a subscription there down. Then you can hit a bell, so long as actually you're notified whenever actually there's anything new I've just uploaded here, because at least every after some period of time I do produce more of the videos and then I upload them here for your help, for those who have at least those who have a fan or chemistry fans and all that. So otherwise, let me have say hail to you guys all. Thanks for watching.